Welcome to Brazy. Here are the 10 players whose reappearance on the court will generate buzz. Kevin Durant, Brooklyn Nets player. It was just 18 months ago when the former Kia MVP and regular All-NBA star was generally considered the best player in the sport. And now, after Achilles surgery and an extended recovery period and watching Giannis Antetokounmpo win 2 MVPs and LeBron James claim another championship, Durant can finally re-enter that conversation. Because he's such a great shooter and doesn't totally rely on speed and quickness, his injury history shouldn't be a major obstacle in his comeback. John Wall, Houston Rockets. The 5-time All-Star hasn't played since the winter of 2018 because of leg injuries. After the Wizards lost patience and went with a more sure thing with Russell Westbrook in a trade with Houston, Wall is now the Rockets' problem or solution, depending on how he returns from those injuries and meshes with James Harden, who'll dominate the ball. Stephen Curry, Golden State Warriors, held to just 5 games last season because of a broken left hand. The game's premier shooter will have his hands full trying to lead a team in transition and also putting Golden State back among the top tier of teams in the NBA, or at least the Western Conference. It's the type of challenge Curry has embraced throughout his basketball career. LaMarcus Aldridge, San Antonio Spurs. Aldridge was held to 53 games after shoulder surgery last season and sat out the restart. He's still a fairly efficient mid-range specialist who can play both power positions, but Aldridge will turn 36 this season and the other side of the hill is beckoning. Do the Spurs, who rarely make trades, seek to re-route him before the deadline to a contender in exchange for youth and/or draft picks? Given that San Antonio is coming off its first non-playoff appearance in more than 2 decades, and isn't exactly bringing a loaded roster or a true star to 2020-21, this is a topic it may explore.
White to Aldridge, 9 in a row for the Spurs.
Aldridge back outside, spin it to the corner. White fires, misses, there's sailing.
28. Be ready to play out of this. Oh boy. Throw it down.
And he does! LaMarcus Aldridge!
Zach LaVine, Chicago Bulls. There are some in the basketball world whose eyes will always tell them to question players who post good numbers on losing teams. LaVine seems to be one of those players, fair or not. Last season he averaged 25.5 points on 45% shooting and 38% on three-pointers to make himself a certified offensive weapon. And yet, his name was tossed about in trade rumors. The Bulls are under new management, which heightens those rumors, yet they have resisted any urge to deal LaVine, who is arguably their best player. LaVine is only 25 and plays an exciting game. A better defensive effort and more wins this season will change plenty of opinions. Blake Griffin, Detroit Pistons. 2 of his last 3 seasons were cut short because of knee issues, and Griffin saw just 18 games in 2019-20, when he had surgery twice on his left knee. DeMarcus Cousins, Houston Rockets. Does anyone know if Cousins is getting a championship ring from the Lakers? That's the second biggest question facing the big man. The more important one, can Cousins still perform? He essentially hasn't performed in about 3 seasons, after major injuries wrecked his plans in New Orleans, Golden State and last season with the Lakers. After missing out on generous free agent paydays along the way, he's at a crossroads in Houston, where he'll at least share a comeback story with Wall, his old college teammate. It would be shameful if his best NBA life was wasted in Sacramento, but that appears to be the case. Kyrie Irving, Brooklyn Nets. Aside from his personality quirks and questionable leadership ability, the fact remains Irving is an elite playmaker who can change any game with his scoring and court sense. A bum shoulder limited him to 20 games last season, his first with the Nets, but his injury recovery has coincided with Kevin Durant's, and now Brooklyn is ready to launch a journey that can take the Nets deep into the postseason. In that sense, it doesn't matter how Irving relates to the media after he recently declared he'll only speak through prepared statements. Rather, it's how he relates to Durant. And all signs are positive so far. KarlAnthony Towns, Minnesota Timberwolves. Nobody had a tougher summer than the former #1 overall pick, who said he lost 7 family members, including his mother, to coronavirus. You simply can't recover from that. So it'll be interesting to see how Towns copes with that tragedy when basketball arrives to provide a temporary and welcome distraction. He'll join the Wolves' newest #1 overall pick, Anthony Edwards, and seek to bring the Wolves closer to uncharted territory, the playoffs, by at least qualifying for the play-in tournament. Having his friend D'Angelo Russell around for a full season will help Towns on and off the court. Trae Young, Atlanta Hawks. He had a massive 2019-20 season, ranking among the leaders in scoring and assists, and hardly anyone noticed because the Hawks didn't make the playoffs or participate in the restart. And, besides, some people still haven't gotten over Luka Doncic being traded for Young. Fine, but he returns with a far better cast, one that should put the Hawks in the playoff discussion. He'll get to sit at the knee of Rajon Rondo, who knows a thing or three about running a team. Given those goodies, there's no reason why Young shouldn't be an all-star again, even if his defense doesn't improve drastically.